Meeting of council convening at 10 a.m. with Reed Michael Park as chairman. Who will move on this? Ron and Ernie, sorry.
No worries. You get to it.
Sorry.
And Ernie, sure. All in favor?
Cheers.
That the council of the R and the Rosedale approves the agenda for September 9th, 2022. Is there any additions from anybody? Additions, Ron, for agenda?
No, nothing. No.
Okay, who will move on this? Okay, Andrew and Earl, Andrew Summers. All in favor of this? Carried.
You need to go over here. Here's a quick presenter stuff. Push moves down. That's good. That's good. That's lots. You're welcome. One, two, three,
Coffee. That the minutes of the regular meeting held August the 12th, 2022 be adopted and circulated. Did everybody have a chance to read those minutes, and is there any errors, omissions? If not, can I get someone to move? Robert, Scott, and Bruce Slater. And all in favor of this? Carried. Next one is the council approves the accounts for the month and amounts as follows. August 22, general is $119,069.34. Water's $8,313.97. Is there any questions on this? If not, can I get someone to move? Okay, Scott.
I can tell you.
And Andrew Summers. All in favor? Motion carried. That we, the council, agreed to adopt the August 22nd financial statement. Can I get someone to move on that? Earl Burton. Second, Ron Kostenchuk. And all in favor of this? Carried. Sign this after. So our next one is bylaw number 4-2022, being a bylaw to amend bylaw 2501 to create a reserve fund for the replacement or repair of municipal machinery and equipment. Now will be read a third time, passed, signed, and sealed. This is our third one on that, machinery reserves. And can I get someone to move? Ernie, sure. And second, Bruce Slater. And all in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Would you like to move on to the
Yeah,
aggregate mining and transportation?
yeah, we could do that one.
I have drafted a bylaw to include the revised rates.
Okay.
Otherwise, everything in the bylaw remains the same.
Bruce, did you have a chance to read that in your package on there's an increase on the aggregate mining that we can
I didn't.
fee agreement? Okay. We
It's
discussed
not here?
that. Yeah. Do you want to just take a look at it? Just discuss it before the meeting. Maybe Kara can just explain again on that one if you don't mind, Kara.
Sure, yeah. We have a current bylaw right now that proposes fees for hauling aggregate within the RM of Rosedale. This notice that we received from Municipal Relations as well as the province, it actually increases the regulations, aggregate mining fees and the transport of that aggregate. The last time it was increased, I believe, was in 2013, if I'm not mistaken. And so therefore, we are allowed to increase the rates in our bylaw as such. And so I've drafted a bylaw for council to review. All other information on the bylaw remains the same, except for the amounts have been revised. So if council is okay with that, you're welcome to pass first and second reading today.
Okay, that bylaw number 5-2022 being a bylaw to amend bylaw 2-2019 to govern and mining and transportation of the aggregate within the municipality now be read the first time. Can I get someone to move on this? And Summers, second, okay. Robert Scott. And I'll favor of this.
This still doesn't apply to 471, though.
Carried.
That's correct. That's right.
So we're just,
I'll just grab that back from you, Bruce, if you don't mind.
oh yeah, sorry.
That's okay. And that bylaw number 5-2022 now will be read a second time. That's one we just passed. Can I get someone to move? Ernie Sure. And second, Earl Burton. And all in favor of this? Carried.
No, I didn't, how much of an increase?
How much will it have to be?
30%? Thereabouts, I think.
Probably.
Yeah, about that.
Yeah, roughly. And we'll move on to, do you have 7.5? Or whatever you have?
Yeah, if it's okay, there's a resolution for 7.3 if council wishes to move forward with that. That's the municipal service delivery program.
Right. Whereas the Manitoba government has launched a municipal service delivery improvement program, MSDIP, which provides funding to find ways to improve and find efficiencies. Therefore, be resolved that council agrees to apply for provincial funding by submitting an application to review financial and operational efficiencies in 2022. That's totally funded, so we discussed this. Who will move on this? Question. And second, Bruce Wright. All in favor? Carried. Hi, Jeff.
Hi. You Jeff, hi Jeff, yeah, thank
You can take Jeff now if
you. Sure.
you want. land sale policy update, Jeff. Got something for us?
Oh yeah, we were just discussing a little bit with that land sale policy. More so it stemmed from the last purchase in Kelvin on where, the concern I had was that it was, on the offer to purchase, it was allowed as they want to build like a shed or potentially a garage or something. With allowing that on an empty lot typically doesn't go with our zoning bylaw. Our zoning bylaw requires a primary structure prior to an accessory building. So we kind of worked through that one, didn't work out too bad, was because she owns the property right adjacent. So that one wasn't really too bad. And we're going to permit a structure there for it, but I'm asking, even if it's consolidate all the lots, that way it doesn't set nothing going forward for the for future purchases, just so that everybody's not buying a lot and think they can put a shed on it, and we can kind of justify on this one saying, okay, yeah, you know what, she got a house there, this one isn't a problem. But, we were just talking about that. I was just kind of wondering if something shouldn't be added right into that. Just noting it, and I just gave a little quick note there about maybe just to kind of clarify about what is expected for them to build. Like if you're expecting a residence, then so I just wondered about putting no accessory buildings or uses allowed prior to any primary uses of structures, just as some type of little note in there, just
Sense.
so everybody's looked at the policy, then they know what they're required to, and it kind of suits our zoning better. Right.
Could it be done on a case basis, Jeff? Just in case, say it's a small lot and the person just adding to their own lot to make it space size?
Yeah, I think things like that. Things like that. Like I said, that's with this one. We kind of justified because it would be the ones where someone just picks a lot,
Right.
and thinks, so I'm going to satisfy it. I'm going to build a 10 by 10 shed on it, and it sits there forever.
Do you want to be able to have a timeline of when they're going to build a house
Or some sort of a suitable access time.
Well,
I think you allow a year. What does it say? It just says the building process. It doesn't necessarily specify what to build on, other than the purpose is to encourage residential development, right? And then you give them a year to commence the process, and then a year to finish, right? So technically they have 2 years to do the work or something, so it's not too bad.
Okay.
I just wondered about just to clarify
That makes sense.
what is expected about building it. But yeah, I mean, we could do it on a case by case if a person's extending the lot, then I don't have a problem with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes that happens, right? That's a
Yeah,
mission in small town.
yeah.
So I'm just curious now, because there's a lot in Franklin with that kind of garage shop.
Yeah.
I think that's for sale, the shop is, right?
Yeah, I thought of that one as well. Like, that one was done, it was permitted with a house, technically at the time, right? And then,
The house is gone
the
now.
house is gone now, and the
So-
shop's sitting on the lot.
So, and that's, I get how that would happen, it's a relatively new shop, but.
That's right, and I mean, those can happen on anyone, depending on how many lots are on the title. Because I mean, you can always have 3 lots as part of your land. Person builds on one, and you can always, if it's not encroachment and there's no boundary changes, a person can pull those out. I mean, we can't really stop those ones.
Right.
But I mean, it's not a perfect system.
No.
I guess my concern was that it wasn't just something that it was just lots bought up because.
I'm just curious why they're wanting to sell that shed, it's perfectly nice little shed.
Yeah. Aren't they selling it on the lot? Am I wrong?
I thought it was just a shed.
Oh, I saw that. I just assumed the whole thing was for sale.
Maybe I'm assuming it's just.
I didn't need a lot in Franklin with the shop.
Maybe I'm just assuming it's just
Yeah.
the shed, but
Yeah.
no worries, we don't need to spend time on that.
Yeah. Okay.
So there's a resolution here, council would like the comment that Jeff has recommended, no accessory buildings or uses allowed prior to a primary structure or use has been added. In addition to that, council had discussed earlier increasing the deposit amount from 2% to 5%, just simply because that way it would cover the cost of advertising.
Right.
when the lot was put up for sale. And the last change I made was to the very last page. It's actually the agreement that needs to be signed, and in that, it's requested that they include their mailing address, phone number, email address, as well. That
Okay.
form didn't have that information requested, yeah, that's
Okay.
right.
Okay, we'll do this. Anything else, Jeff, that you have for us? or-
Just a couple quick updates on a few
Okay,
lots.
sure.
Well, actually, first one, there's another proposed, well, I shouldn't say it's a proposed tower, they're just inquiring. So I just wanted to bring that just for, in case any ratepayers
Yeah.
or, it's actually just right outside of Eden. So it could be on Cook's property, right? So Eden's here, and then if you're heading out west, just on that corner there. On the dot there. They're just still entering into agreement. They're doing their due diligence on the process, so it's not necessarily,
Was there two of them?
well, this is just, oh, sorry. Yeah, we discussed one a while ago, right?
Okay.
This was just another one following up from that one. It's not the same one, another proposal. I don't know if it's a go yet, but they were just inquiring about our process, and so I just thought I'd bring that up. Because the last one came through pretty fast and kind of came to the municipality at the same time that it was going out to the public. So if it does go through and it does come out, there may be some questions asked about it. I don't have a lot of detail on what it is yet. They're just looking into discussing with the owner and
South of Depot, or South of Eden, couple.
just west of Eden.
Is that right by Weed's place?
Yeah, that'd be right.
Ken Weed's right across the road?
Yeah.
I know where they're at.
Just on that corner there.
Whose place is it?
Ken
Well,
Weed's.
it's the property is on. It says Cook Farms.
Yeah.
Is where it's
It's
going.
just right across from Ken's there?
Yeah, on that
To
same
the east
road.
of Ken Weed's? On that same road, that little short road there?
You can't put any more subdivisions on that farm, or on
They
that.
wouldn't need one. They could agreement with the property owner to put it there, right? They wouldn't need to
Because
subdivide.
there's a cattle yard there.
That's Ford's old place.
That was
Isn't it
subdivided.
same where the well's on? Pump house?
Yeah, yeah, there is something on there. I think that's right, yeah.
Yeah, so there's already two splits on that corner.
Which, I mean, they wouldn't have to subdivide this out. They could just put it on that. If they make an agreement with the landowner, they can just put it on there without a subdivision.
I don't understand where it's going.
Right,
Yeah,
well, there's like a yard site there, isn't there?
I don't know what
There's a cattle yard.
This
there.
yard is here.
Yes.
Eaton shop here.
Yeah, right, so you're heading up to
Going
65.
past there with the groom.
Yeah,
This one,
On that east
That
side.
would be right in there.
So this is the world that sits.
that's how it sits, right.
They're not subdivided. It's like
The cattle yard, they want to subdivide it off there?
I don't know if it's subdivision or not. There was not, they wouldn't need to subdivide it. They could put it on that property without a
Oh, so
subdivision.
it's not subdivision, sorry.
No, this is just a proposal to place a tower, so there will be.
Oh, that's just a tower.
Yeah.
Oh, a
There's
tower.
no
Sorry,
subdivision.
yeah.
Resident.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, sorry, communication tower. Rogers, I think.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Once you get a little higher up the hill,
Yeah.
you need to get a little more signals.
Yeah, I see.
There's already three owners
Get a
on
little.
there. And now there's a new one, I understand.
Joe.
Oh, okay.
There's a new owner on that property.
Okay. I didn't see that.
That was like the last meeting.
So if it's in by the cattle yard.
I noticed of it just as they put it in the paper to advertise.
Yeah,
It's,
so I
it
don't,
really has nothing to do with Rosedale, it's the property owner making an
Yeah.
agreement with the tower.
but just in the event that they do proceed, it will go to
Yeah.
circulation and
It's got
just in case any ratepayers are.
Maybe we'll get better cell service.
At your house,
We better approve it.
at your house, Robert, at your house.
I just wanted to bring it for information at this time,
Yeah.
there's nothing official, just in case it does,
Yeah.
that way at least if anybody's asking me. And there's a few properties that we've been dealing with, mostly Kelvin's there. Keith Neal's, his time's up, there's just that little house there to get demolished, and we're gonna follow up with that next week, but last time we were through there, it was still there.
He called me last night to ask, to mention that he is hiring a company.
Okay,
All of the way, so it could be gone, say,
Okay, so-
in short order. let's say.
okay, so he is still working.
Yeah, they got the stuff they wanted out of there, and
Okay.
he asked for it.
Okay, that's good. And Mr. Morley's, he's probably gonna get an order after the 20th. We gave him to the 20th of September, and he's really done nothing since he started. He had a very good start, so that will be following up on order. We did get just that one for Ackerman's in Riding Mountain. This is getting cleaned up, and we're gonna follow up on that next week.
Okay.
And in Eden there about the livestock next to, in Stewart's old place there.
Yeah,
We checked into that and they're falling within the bubble. Their animal units are under the 10, which is what's allowed, and they're keeping their structures outside of the GD and the setbacks.
who counted the cattle?
Pardon me?
Who counted the cattle there?
Scott was there. He was there this morning. Yeah.
Well, that's,
Unless they moved them, but like I said,
So how many is allowed there?
well, they're allowed 10 animal units. And he had 7 cows and there was a few chickens there, which,
How many acres is it?
26. It's not a livestock operation, like I say, if you keep under 10 animal units, it's just called animal keeping. And
Okay.
it falls into a different category than livestock and harboring, but what they had there today, Scott was just there this morning, because today was they arranged a meeting, and Scott was there this morning, and,
That's okay.
yeah, he's well aware of what he's allowed, and he's following the law at it. So, if anybody asks further, I mean,
Yeah.
they're.
I know he sold some the other day. He sold.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, he did.
He was out, and it was inspection later in the week, so.
Maybe that's why.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
As of this morning, he was in line with policy, so.
So, on a 10 acre, which seems to be fairly popular size, how many animal units then?
Say, well, what is it, it's 10 animal units or 0.5 per acre, depending, I don't remember the exact wording, but
Pretty close, yeah.
it would definitely be no more than 10.
0.5 would be 10, 5 animals on 10.
But it depends on what type of animal, right?
That's right, it all different class.
Like chickens are,
Oh, sure.
chickens are you could have like 600 chickens on that, right? But cows, I think on 10 acres.
Or horses
Yeah.
is the question that I got asked.
I'd have to check the number. Cow is usually like 2 animal units, right? So it depends on the size too.
Of animals.
Size, well, the animal and then the size of the acreage.
Right.
But
But that's what I'm saying, if it's 10, how many animals would that?
I would have no idea. It would have to depend on what kind of
How
animal it
many
was.
horses?
I don't remember what an animal unit for a horse is.
Okay, because I'm curious, I was asked that the other day.
I think it's a half animal unit, because cow calf is 1 animal unit, right?
Yeah, breeders 2.
Oh, yeah, that makes, yeah.
And feeders 3/4 or whatever.
What about frogs and grasshoppers? I might be over.
Holy crap,
I mean, you get me an active count of grasshoppers, you know.
So,
But
it's likely 5 then actually instead, because I had it in my head it was 2. But it's actually maybe 5 on 10 acres.
I would have to look it up again. I know that
Which mine?
it's up to a maximum 10, and
You'll
there's
find
something
them
of
on the website.
0.5 depending on.
On whose?
Government, but.
Okay, yeah. Okay,
Yeah, I can have
The
a
farm practice or whatever.
okay.
So anyway, that's all I had. So
Keep up the good work here.
gee, thank you.
I have a question for you,
Good
Jeff.
job.
It's a personal question.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff. Okay, so after the explanation on this amendment for this land sale policy, we, the council, agreed to amend the municipal land policy, land sale policy. Can I get someone to move? Sure. Earl,
So yes, it'll be on.
Burton,
What it is,
all in favor of this? Carried. We had 2 other inquiries not too far away from where this tower's one, so that's where I was. We, the council, authorize CEO Kara Sylvester to attend an MMA district meeting in Brandon on September 23rd, 2022. And all allowable expenses be paid. Can I get someone to move on this? Are you sure? And sorry, Earl Burton. Now, all in favor of this? Carried.
You know, Mark,
And leads us up to 7-6 if you have one prepared, 7-7.
Yes.
Okay, this is from the beautiful Plains Agricultural Society. In 1998, our Rosedale signed an agreement with the beautiful Plains Ag Society to rent a space, 2 4x8 signs. I think whoever, most of us know where those signs are there. They complex advertising has options of paying for the full 3-year amount of $750 for the signing, or making a 3-year installments of $300 with a rental of $50 per year, beginning September 2021. The Armor Rosedale opted for the payment of $750 in 1998 and also paid the $50 sign year rental fee, $100 per year up to September 2028, noting a payment of $2,300. Effective September 1st, 2009, sign rental will be payable on the 2x4x8 signs. Kindly forward your check payment to the Beautiful Plains Ag Society. Rent due $100. That's $50 per sign. That's from Gail White. So I guess we have some back pay. Is that what I gather on this, Kara?
No, I think it's just renewing the agreement that was in
For
place.
3 years.
And last year, I think we put up new signs, so we've got some nice new signs there. The other ones were a little bit dated from before. Last year or the year before, maybe it was the year before. Yeah.
So this is the grant, $100 to, for the rental space for 2 signs in 2022. So that we, the council, agreed to grant $100 to the Beautiful Plains Ag Society, Agricultural Society for the rental space for 2 signs in 2022. And how would we like?
Can I ask something?
Yeah.
Like, we bought the signs and put them up in their place and paid so many $100, right?
Yeah.
Now they're charging us,
They have been for years, Robert. This
Rental.
has been since 2009.
yeah, I know this, but I didn't think that we paid on top of that a spot to hang the sign in their building. Because it's in
It's
their.
advertising.
Hmm?
It's advertising.
Well, what do we need to advertise?
It was, yeah, I guess from way back in 2001, I guess we paid that $50 a sign. And it's advertising, yeah, so. I guess we-
I remember us buying the sign, you must remember that, Ernie, when we
Yeah.
bought the sign. But I didn't know that they turn around and charge us.
Rent.
Yeah,
I would
on our
say
own sign in their building.
we're advertising that we support the Ag Society.
Yeah.
That's basically what we're doing, we're just putting a support thing in for them.
Exactly, that's what buying the sign did, isn't it?
Well, no, that's just a yearly thing, I know
We have
if
to
it's,
say to have the sign at the front of it too, do we not?
you know, we pay everywhere, like we pay at the arena, we pay at the curling rink. It's just our Rosedale showing doing their part.
Yeah, I realize that.
I know it's,
When the shoe's on the other foot, it always doesn't fit.
that's true.
Okay, do we want to support this and how? What is council's wish? Out of our general, it's kind of too small for VLT. That's my opinion only, but whatever you wish, VLT or VLT works. VLT works.
Oh, yeah.
Does everybody want to do VLT? Everybody?
Got quite a bit left there too, do we not?
No, you're not dead.
There's a fair bit left there too yet, so.
Why did it?
Get new tires. I got $4,000 now.
Well, what did it be?
I barely spent anything. Wait, just earlier, this one,
$16 and 67 cents.
How much?
well, we could make it.
Well, you know, you can just take it out of mine, everybody's home.
Too late.
I had to do that,
Okay, that we, the council, have reached grant $100 to the Beautiful Plains Agricultural Society for rental space for 2 signs in 2022. VLT 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, $16.67 each, right? That's all in favor? Or sorry, who's gonna move on?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Oh,
Okay, Earl Burton.
so last move, I think.
I second.
All in favor? Carried. And we have another request here from the Arts Forward. Do you read counselors? Arts Forward, we gave 2022 $500, and this goes for, everybody knows what the Arts Forward is about, right? Organizing facilities, use of all age, backgrounds, family, schools. Some of our programs consist of art classes, kids in the kitchen, field to table, club gardening classes, mixed media art classes, health and awareness classes and workshops of cultural events and learning opportunities such as programs surrounding national days and truth reconciliation. And we also have Art Gallery that hosts many local artists and promote. We have partnered for different ones. Arts Forward has an organizational grant of $750, a gift of kind for meeting space of $1,000. Your financial commitment will go towards continuing affordability, quality programming, cultural events of Arts Forward. Thanks for the ongoing commitment. The assistance will help. So what I gather is requesting for operating grant of $750 and a gift in kind for meeting space of $1,000. Is that what I gather?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So do we wish to proceed with any donations? 2022, we give $500.
2020.
Sorry, 2020, yeah.
$100 each out of our VLTs.
They are asking for operating grant of $750.
I think we should get the 750. I know my kids go there for 20 minutes now. That's out of Rosedale.
And a gift in kind for meeting place. That's how I read that, right? And $1,000.
Where's that?
It's a good thing.
Arts Forward.
Where's that?
Right across from John Harris.
That's
So
what
they're
I
asking for
was
750.
So they're asking, yeah, for request of operating grant of $750 and a gift in kind for a meeting space of $1,000. So they're asking for $1,750.
But the gift in kind would be using the upstairs court rooms for a meeting. It's not actually financially a
Oh, I
gift,
understand that.
it's
Okay, sorry.
the
Gift in kind.
space, yeah,
Sure,
gift in
okay.
kind.
In case, okay.
In case they need an extra meeting space one day, or is it 5 days in a year?
So it's actually only $750 of the money.
Yeah, a gift in kind, yeah.
Okay, good.
I know the MAS uses it quite a bit for training now. Arts Forward.
Yeah, well, that's okay, no, I understand it.
Okay, so do we wish to, does anyone wish to?
Who's that meeting?
VLT funding,
Yep. You
How
bet.
much do they want? That's all.
$750, no reality?
$750.
That's what we mark right then.
That's what they asked, yeah, whatever you guys said.
VLT,
Yeah, $1.25.
does everybody want to do the same?
Sure.
$1.25.
Yeah.
A lot of kids use it, that's a good place.
Yeah, my kids use it.
It's interesting to go in there every now and then. There's some pretty good artists in town. She's quite,
That's what you
quite.
say.
Yeah, it's okay, right, I get
The
it.
stuff she's got up on the wall, this is like.
Never been in the building. Never been in the building. I've been in the building.
Okay, that we, the council, agreed to grant $750 to Arts Forward to assist with the program and cultural events in 2022. VLT Ward 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, of $125 each. And who will move on this?
Okay.
Okay. Andrew Summers and Ernie Scher. Sure. All in favor? Carried.
Who's sending that bill?
That's me.
That's you.
And next. Okay. And this has to do with environment and consulting to proceed in Kelwood. Any discussion on this? We had some previous discussion, but I honestly think for this one we have no. I think we should honestly proceed on this in Kelwood.
He moved the landfill.
And even if we did have another spot later, it might take a while to find a spot if we do choose.
Well, I think the doing the new spot's gonna be way more money than,
Yeah.
and I like the idea of the central spot, but.
This one secures at least,
Well, we can always look for another spot, and
yeah.
it might not be for 2 or 3 years that we're gonna find one, but we gotta have something. Might as well go ahead.
Well, it's very viable, right? Keep it, that landfill, Kelwood's very viable.
Well, not, yeah.
Because it is gonna run out one day. too.
Yeah. Whereas Environmental Consulting Solutions, ECS, was hired to assist with providing a feasible approach to improving and extending the life of the current RM of Rosedale municipal landfill sites, and whereas a collection of primary design information for a new landfill cell located at the Kelwood Waste Disposal Ground has been received and presented to council on September 9th, 2022. Now therefore it be resolved that the council agrees to accept the scope of work provided and authorizes ECS to commence with the scope of work outlined in the ECS proposed number 2022-019. And who will move on this? Okay. Earl Burton, second. Okay, very sure. All in favor of this? Carried. And this leads us up to,
Eden is still kind of,
yeah, it would be just transfer.
right, that's what we talked about.
Yeah.
I don't see that that's an issue really, as long as people can still go there, right?
Recycling depot, right? Recycling still remains.
Right.
I don't know how much it would be loads per week. Can't see it being a whole lot.
No, I mean, as long as the people can still go there.
Yeah.
That's probably the biggest thing.
I think almost like a buy an old dump trailer for our semi too, right?
Oh, that's
It's got a
another,
wet kit on it.
that's another.
Well, I actually look at getting some kind of container there. Yeah, that's enough room there.
Unfinished business, do we want to move to the town of Neepawa 911 response invoices? And Andrew, you were not there. Do you have that letter, or that table that Colleen provided us?
Oh,
I don't think I brought
I left it at home on the table. Why is it?
Andrew put up there because you were not there. When Andrew called, I informed him on some, but you just look at yourself here, Andrew.
Yeah, that's the one.
It's all,
Gifford?
yeah, it's all calls and shows and years. So does what's the wish of the council? Do we want to proceed with what the proposal is, or do we want to keep paying? This is second option. First option is paying invoices that is coming from the town, or do we want to enter into an agreement with the proposed dollar value? Maybe go around the table with this one.
What's the dollar value now? 95?
About 10.
10.
95?
10.
I think it was
10?
10, shoot, yeah, it was mentioned as
A
10.
little over
so
10 or something, yeah.
Whatever the case may be, yeah.
My opinion is, this is just my opinion, the council, and my suggestion, this I should say, is that we enter it in because it does, we do need them there. And any of us, family members, neighbors, whoever, be in situations, we want somebody to be there as soon as possible. And I know we do have in place our mutual aid. And you can see that if their trucks go and help us and then they're without, a bunch of backup or whatever, like they expect at the meeting, it does make sense. It's not a whole, in my eyes, it's not a bad number, but that's just me.
I agree. I think
That's not much money for
No.
safety.
We got a lot of folks that live in
Yeah.
An agreement allows us to budget pretty well too.
Yeah.
Instead of just.
It's everywhere.
We could spend $10,000 a lot worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So would this agreement start at the beginning of the year? Do we have to pay these 2 invoices then?
Well, and that's what I was wondering is if council were to choose this option, my suggestion would be to clear up these 2 invoices because they did attend. I understand it's a lot of money, but possibly start fresh in 2023, January 1, for a contract. And therefore, these results show that they did attend. Luckily, we're lucky that we have them there and just sort of move on from there.
Okay.
That's up to you, council.
Okay, so you'll advise the town that we're proceeding paying these invoices and that we do agree to look at a contract sent over for our next meeting, I guess, to enter into the new year.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea, Scott.
Okay.
Well, we should have something, that's pretty cheap cost for
It's
safety.
cheap insurance, right?
But for safety, you can't put somebody's life at $10,000.
No, no, I think, I'm glad we all agree, that's,
Instead of counting it out as calls of as one person.
I'm sure taxpayers aren't gonna complain about that one, especially when it ends up being their house or something.
Okay, so we will move on to the Municipality of Norton Cypress and for boundary trail. How we left it is, we asked Kara to ask if they were considering lowering that pit run. Yeah, the size, so
Yeah.
if you got any information, Kara, on that, if you
Yes. I have an email here. It's from the CAO.
Okay, I have reached out to my council regarding our conversation, possibly changing the tender of the correction line. My council indicated that pit run gravel gravel will be no use for this road as it won't work and it also won't last, so you won't have to be upkeeping the road more frequently rather than you use screen. It may bring the cost down a little, but it still is an unexpected, unbudgeted expense that my council is not prepared to commit to this year. They have indicated that the price, even at the low bid, is just not in their range for doing this year, and it was not budgeted. Council would like to pass on that they would recommend that the project be put onto the 2023 budget and be completed in the spring. And it's a fair statement, because if they didn't budget, it is kind of a
It's totally fair.
Yeah,
We should look at going from Vauxhalls to where the town's gonna do their work with gravel. Because it's got no gravel.
And if it's on the, then we can, now we can tell.
that's right.
Yeah.
Try it.
I don't know whether,
I guess we're looking at next year.
Tried it, that it's coming next year.
Let's look at next year now.
And that's way better than saying.
It's just we need to agree on that product.
yeah, like I say,
Yeah, why do they get to dictate the product, like, we gotta compromise this?
I don't know, because it's not, it's, the expense goes through, you've got a processing machine, and the expense goes through the roof.
It run as gravel, it's just not screened, in my mind, but
Well, even if we looked at just putting it through one of those, what do you call it?
Grizzly?
Grizzly, you know, take the big stuff out, you know, okay, fine, at least you're down to 4 or 5 inch, you know.
But they want two.
Well, I know they want
One
one.
or one,
No.
but why?
That's pretty,
Like,
one's way too
That's
small.
road gravel, I think.
exactly.
Yeah, so we're doing a foot of crushed gravel.
That's what they're using out in the south, in Burton area, they're using
Bring up
it in
our
gravel.
budgetary.
Okay?
Yeah, it's on the road.
Might be here some most.
Do you want to-
I know.
so, long story short, so we're gonna be looking at that for 2023, right?
Oh, sure, yeah,
Because we kind
They're
of,
looking at budget for it.
So they're saying,
because we have to look at budget.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, sure, I'm just gonna read, that we, the council, agree to pay the town of Neepa for the invoices expense of, and there's, there, can I get you to fill it out, Karen, or?
Sure, yeah, I'll fill it, I'll add it to numbers.
Because we do know our numbers have never changed. Sustain for fire call out. In addition, we agree to enter into a mutual fire emergency agreement beginning January 2023 as presented.
Sure.
And who will move in this? Rob Scott? And Bruce Flavor? All in favor? Good. Thank you. Yeah, and then you put on the budget.
Yes.
Perfect. And you're right, Bruce, at least tried, you know, your taxpayers and Ernie and everybody else.
Well, I wouldn't expect that we could just do it this year.
Yeah.
Because we didn't budget for it, but,
We really didn't know the cost either.
Yeah.
but if we're talking about budgeting for next year, they are too,
Yeah.
that's,
Progress.
that's like 90% positive to me, 10%
So
positive.
is there any way we can do the gravel thing from Vauxhalls to?
We're gonna have to release.
Oh, we gotta put something that
I
gets
agree.
there.
That's gotta be done.
It hasn't been gravel in 6 years.
you should gravel itself.
Exactly, just gravel itself.
And it seems pretty much.
Yeah.
Oh, it's miserable.
As soon as it rains,
You
you
shouldn't
would
believe
like.
what I said.
Because we should try and get it done before,
Yeah.
the dry crew is finished and roasted.
Yeah, we should tell Daryl that
Yeah.
probably a good chunk of gravel on there, because it eats up.
And it might not happen in 23 years, that's the problem.
Looking at that.
Oh, wow.
What's that, the project?
I don't wanna do that.
Well,
That is stuff that might happen, but if we don't budget for it, it won't happen.
No, sure, exactly.
Was it?
Okay, our next one is that we, the council, agree to amend resolution number 22/191 for the purchase of a 2022 car hauler utility trailer to reflect the purchase for the amount of $6,741.28, including tax and spare tire, as described in the quote received from Kelvin Trailers. And can I get someone to move? Most of us know about this.
Yep.
Sure. Andrew Summers. All in favor of this? Carried. Okay, and we're moving on to the next one. We already discussed 9(4), right? So-
9(4) is unfinished business. This is.
Oh, that's,
the
oh, yes, sorry.
location
Yeah,
at,
yeah.
Neil Brewery's location.
Well, so this was brought up, just a new letter, or no?
No, that's last
So if
month's.
we all know what's going on, we had proposed, from Ed,
Right.
okay,
I don't know if you want that.
so to refresh everybody, that's on Southwest 14, 15, 15.
Just say,
Southeast 1515, and I guess we got a couple of choices. Option one is to replace with culverts, correct?
And I did talk to Kay yesterday, by chance I went to Brandon to pick up something for my mom and I ran into Ed, like on the street, it was weird. So I asked him about the cement thing, he said it worked great, he said no problems there, he had no issues with that at all, he says it worked fine. Like if we did the culverts and then cemented them in, he says, yeah, it would work, because he says it's only like 3 days, you get water going over, and he says after that, then it's back through culverts.
So water going now?
Huh?
Sure, water going now?
Not lots right now, like it's a little bit going,
Yeah.
not a lot. It always runs water steady.
And Ed McCain, all this cost will be under.
This will be a DFA, yeah. It has been. Yeah.
Okay,
But then he said the 8-foot culverts, 2 ways,
yeah.
whichever way we want to go.
So it'd be $40,000 for culverts. Estimated low level rock crossing, Fort crossing is 32,000. Which seems high, but maybe it's not that high, right? Who knows? So somebody puts a bid on it. The only problem is, in my eyes, you have to get a contractor to do that, right? If we don't do it pretty soon, then the cost of cement goes through the roof. So we'd have to move on this pretty quick if we want a cost of getting a contractor to do it, cement that.
It's either cemented or put 2, I think he mentions 2 8-foots in there
Yeah,
Yeah.
for, to go through.
Weren't there 2 10s there before?
No,
Yes.
was there 2
There was 2 10s there before, and then we put 2 24-inchers in there.
Yeah.
And now he's suggesting at least 2 8-foots. Yeah. And he doesn't say cement it in because it's sort of like, I believe it's like hackawages where if you get the right compaction and you have somebody like Pat Baker Backhoe do the job that knows how to do it properly, he said there shouldn't be a problem. But that's up to council again. If you think concrete is needed, then I just have to let you know that because H2O management doesn't mention concrete in their proposal, we may not be reimbursed for that concrete because that was not necessarily a requirement.
Concrete would be done for good though.
That's right.
how many years, 17 years ago, that 18
Oh, Chris, how many times did we put that?
years ago, when first,
3
I
times.
remember working on it myself.
4 times now.
Yeah.
You mean every 4 years talking about?
yeah, and I just washed out the first, and it was done right, but
Every 4 years, it washes it.
I just don't think
We got cemented.
the cement,
Concrete.
that's pretty good.
Because otherwise we're gonna have to bring in a pile of film to fill that whole hole again.
Oh, my God.
We hauled it out.
And you can't bring in gravel because that would be going down the stream.
I know all around, I was yesterday around the Ferguson way, and then from the Ferguson, like St. Gladstone or to the east, and all of those, for that creek's got all those 4 crossings, and it's flying, like it's.
It's solid, like they
Solid.
say, like, I'm sure we have to put up some signs that, you know,
Yeah.
at the top of the hill and up here, you know, to let people know that
Ford
it's a Ford crossing that, or it's whatever they want to call it, low level crossing, concrete.
So it's council wish to send out somebody a tender that then? So almost have to get somebody a tender to build
Yeah, you get a
that
tender.
forms.
Done in ASAP.
And another thing is, this is just I was thinking about this other day, and I don't know, maybe the engineer or Ed McKay or somebody, but Parkview Precast, it's got a lot of, and they're lengthy, they're up to 26 feet by 8 feet, deformed, like the edges could be cracked, of precast walls or floors that can't be used in the building as a, maybe used as a, it's all rebar, it's all,
Why couldn't you have it so it comes in?
yeah, so you,
That's what Spring Hill did with theirs, they haven't had
Oh,
issues.
like this, you mean?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, maybe they would even bid on it. Because they got,
Right. That would never move.
Be nice if they could cut holes in those things the size of the culvert. Put it up on the base and then put one underneath.
but these are already built, there's all kinds of sizes that the edges are chipped or whatever, that they just not allowable for the building code, right?
Right.
Because that's what Spring Hill, they put one like this.
Structurally,
It goes
it's
into their culverts, and then they put one on the exit side so it doesn't chew it out.
Yeah. More through the road.
And they haven't had an issue there ever since.
With Ed McKay, is there any way that we can ask, like, is there any design that he would?
I can definitely check with him if he has
But he
a,
knows all about those 4 crossings. He says, I've been through lots of them, he says.
but for the most part, if council wants to pass a resolution to accept his quote, that will get the roughly, I think it's $38,000 or $40,000 that he suggested.
32, yeah.
Or 32 for the 2 culvert, 8-foot culverts?
Oh, sorry, yeah, 40,000, right?
Yeah,
Option 1,
and then at least we can
one's
get,
40,000.
I can get a better idea as to what he's proposing and then tender that information.
And that Fort crossing is a supply in place, rip wrap, supply in place, pit run, site prep and earthwork, but there's no mention of cement or contract work, right?
Well, we could always talk to Ed, see if he'll
Yeah.
alter a little bit for us. I'm sure he would, add, because we never said anything to him about concrete, so he never thought of the concrete.
Yeah.
But
He definitely agreed with the concrete.
if you're okay with it, I can get a hold of him and see how much concrete he
Yeah.
feels would be needed, and we can include that in the tender,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And that way, we kind of piece it all together so that the contractors understand what council is requesting, and then
What were you thinking?
advertise, and hopefully get some bids in before the
Yeah.
next meeting.
He asked me about his invoice, so I'm sure it'll be covered, because DFA's,
If DFA is gonna cover it.
I'm sure. Why wouldn't we? He's doing a study for us. Be nice to fix that problem for once and for all,
Yeah.
and be done with it.
And I can give you Levi's name, number,
Yeah, I
he
have
can,
his name and number
he
from
can
there.
explain what he has,
Great.
maybe Ed can, maybe it won't be that bad after all.
Yeah.
Who knows?
That's a good idea.
So we, the council, agree to accept the quote provided by Ed McKay of H20 Management for the hydraulically study to repair water works between Southwest 14 and Southeast 1515 WPM an amount of X amount, and that we don't know already.
Yeah, not yet.
Right, I just left that blank because he gives you the 2 options, so if you want to cross that out and say you prefer the culvert installation or something like that, then at least the resolution.
So what does council think, that the culverts, is that kind of an out, or what do you think?
I like to cement myself. I
Yes.
don't even know the area very well, but I like to cement myself. It's pretty nice.
We're gonna put culverts in there too, like.
No, underneath it.
Yeah, you're gonna put like a 5-foot.
Yeah, but if we put 8-foot culverts in this year, we'll do it again next year, next year, next year.
Well, you probably won't next year, but like in 2 years you will.
That's what I think.
Yeah, it's whatever.
Because it's pretty well every 4 years we're redoing that.
Yeah, so the cost is the cost.
So,
Get it done
So
right.
yeah, like this Ford crossing is a little different, it's 32,000, it would work, but if the cement, I don't know what,
He doesn't
I don't know.
recommend that one. And
This one?
In his report, he says he doesn't recommend the Ford crossing because it can be dangerous when the water overtops it for such a length of time, people will.
well, that's where we have to put signage. Like,
but that's a thing,
That's a risk.
if you go down the Gladstone Way, it's main roads,
Yeah.
like it's, we're talking
Watershed
main
puts
roads,
those in all the time.
and water goes over top, water goes underneath, and they're all fine, like that's a busy road, that quality goes on that one.
But this is his recommendation, right? It's just, I mean, it is a little different. It's
Well, he has
different.
to put that in there
Yeah.
because if he said this is perfect, if somebody gets killed on it, well,
Yeah.
he's liable not because he said it's perfect. But if we put the right proper signage and say it's a low-level crossing, water could be,
Because it's not the first one in Manitoba in the stretch.
no, heck no.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
It's See the
I
ones
got
on
a
this one there?
question, we got a bill here from Ed McKay for $750 on a road, where did I?
That's my road.
Is
That's this job right here.
That's it?
And you went and did the study of what water comes through there from all 3 creeks coming in?
Yeah, I know the location, Ernie, and I 100% agree that we should put, I would love to see a cemented crossing.
Well, me
Small
too.
pipes.
Do not have to
But
go.
I don't remember us talking about hiring anybody.
Yeah, we did.
Did we?
Yeah,
Yeah, we did.
yeah.
Okay, then
To get
that's,
Ed to do the study on it?
okay.
Yeah. Just,
I wasn't
Actually, we
associating,
did not talk about it, wasn't authorized here at the table. It was not talked about. It should be talked about. That's why it says a uniform council should always talk about these decisions. It was not talked about, hiring especially. This is going through a different program. This was probably covered, but that's why a lot of this stuff's gonna come to the table. It's gotta be talked about.
yeah, I just didn't
we said
remember us
3
saying.
meetings ago.
That was me.
Oh.
I had the impression that this was something that needed to be repaired because of the unauthorized water control works that suggests council needs a hydrology report from the province. And I called to speak with Mr. McKay to see if he understood what was going on. And he mentioned to me that he would be in the area because he was going to the colony that same day. And that was me. I take responsibility for that and I do apologize.
And it's needed, but it's nice that if it's talked at the table, everybody knows about these invoices.
Put that one in there then.
Well, we would have ended up having to call them anyways,
Yeah,
so but we would call them later.
Yeah.
So,
That's not the point.
yeah, it's small, I know, like, but at least it's one step ahead already.
Just as long as we're all in this together, we should know about that. So I don't know how do we accept when we don't know which way we're going.
Well, can we get a hold, we could probably get a hold of Ed and ask him about the cement part of it, like,
I don't think we can. Like, we don't know what their numbers are yet, right?
We can agree to pay the invoice, but we can't agree to that proposal, because we might change it.
Yeah.
Great.
So then no work will be done before October, that's for sure. And
Yeah,
again,
we're
this
right.
is a DFA site, so if council chooses to move ahead with it, you will be reimbursed. But I'm just trying to lay things out for you so you
Right.
understand.
can we get a hold of Ed today and see if he can get us
So
something?
because to accept,
So we can at least get something on the go.
which what we don't know, we can't pass something that we don't know, right?
It's like an open check, right?
Well, that's,
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Well, can we phone Ed right now and see if he can figure out?
Maybe he'll do a quick study and figure it out, because he's got the paper.
He may have an idea in his mind.
You know,
we could do that at noon and then we can get more.
Okay?
It'd be nice to know a number of some sort, you know, that he's got.
You gotta have that.
You catch him now,
Can't
you get
tender
it
it without
No.
tending.
Call June, he could be,
You guys lunch?
His number should be on that invoice.
Yeah, no,
If you want,
That's
just
funny,
pull
I
it
just-
out and we can discuss it with him.
it was funny, I ran into him the other day or yesterday. I just went to pick up something for my mom, and he takes care of a building in town, in Brandon.
Oh,
He's the custodian or whatever. Just a part-time job, retired.
Okay, moving on to
grocery man, or whatever.
next. Is there anything else before the committee report? Carol, am I missing something?
No, I have the CAO report for council, just to run through a few things that have been going on.
Sure.
The provincial teleconference calls between municipal relations and additional provincial departments were scheduled once monthly for July and August. I attended those. I attended a webinar for this MSDIP program on August 15th here in the office. All supplementary taxes have been calculated and added to the system and were mailed out a couple of weeks ago now. And Jury Electric was contacted to install the switch at the Rosedale Fire Hall to access the fuel tank, as council had suggested. The work should be completed next week. And I received further notification from the Manitoba Water Services Board about the requirements to hook up the Rosedale Fire Hall for the water truck fill station. I just wanted to check with council and make sure that the idea is still to have the water run under the PR and have it installed in the parking lot of the Rosedale Fire Department. That's correct, is it not?
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah,
what
you
you
and I
said.
discussed this.
Yeah, we discussed
have
it, and then we went
Yeah.
back to a different scenario, and I just wanted to confirm with
Yeah.
all of council in the room that that's what you're looking for.
Shouldn't it go in the building, sir, for record? Shouldn't the water go into the building for the fire truck, rather than filling the fire truck outside?
Yeah, we did discuss that, yeah.
Because that's, I mean,
But inside's got floor heat, right?
Yeah, that's what I would,
That's the thing.
function home and that.
There's no guarantee if they punch a hole in that.
no,
They,
but
they'd
it's,
have to come through the wall,
Yes,
insulate,
that's right.
but it should be,
They all go come in,
That's what they did
and
with
then
the
it
other
comes from
water
the wall.
plant.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the only way you can do it.
because I'm only one vote, but I think it should come in at all,
It-
just
it-
the convenience of firefighters.
If you're not
If
making a
we can-
loading station.
We can
on the
fill that
south side
truck
of the fire
inside,
hall,
right?
Well, I'm sure they are, unless they, don't want to
If
load
you're talking
outside.
about that one
They
time.
better be
So,
inside.
and really, those are sort of the minor details that we can get to later, once we get the water in,
Okay.
because this is a PR, so there's more regulations that we have to follow, and
It's not
that's
the
why I
water
don't
you
want
have to do.
Yeah, that, the major, you have to directional drill it, you can't trench it through a PR, so there's some hoops that we have to make sure. So if council's okay with that, once I get some more information from the Water Services Board, if you like, I can tender it as well and see if anybody's interested in what details.
That's
And
perfect.
then at least it'll get to
Yeah.
that parking lot. Once you guys decide on how you want to
Where it's gonna end up.
build it onto the fire hall, you can do that, yeah,
Okay.
for sure.
Yep.
But if you're coming up into the building, excuse me, but if you're coming up into the building, that'll be all part of one big push.
To get it in, oh, I see what you're
Yeah.
saying, okay. So we could go up to the building if council's
That's
okay with
what
that?
I would like
And
to
then,
see it. I
you know-
don't think we should come through the floor of that
No,
building.
okay.
Exterior floor.
Okay, I'll mark that down, no problem.
You could bring it up the south side and pipe it through the wall into
Why
the
bring it
fire
up,
hall.
wouldn't you want to bring it up through on the west side, Robert? Because then you can come into the
You
garage.
can't get in it with the west side, yeah, I guess,
Like,
yeah, I
just
guess.
come up
you
there
could
and then
bring it
come up and then
yeah,
into the wall?
Yeah, because there's
Because then this way you're not going through that conference room that they have there, trying to plumb through there,
Yeah,
Yeah,
because that's on the south end.
Yeah.
More direct in, yeah.
there's a border in
If
there.
we come up along and then straight in.
yeah, I guess if you stayed west,
Yeah.
yeah, that might be better.
Because then like you say, well, maybe just being spray foam, like,
On the west
you
side,
can
about
take it
halfway.
down and you can foam that whole pipe.
Well, that's what they did at the water plant when they brought the, instead
Just
of
foam
going
it
through
and
the
then let
floor,
it freeze.
they brought it up on the outside and then they built a box out of treated plywood and insulated the pipe and
Yeah.
covered
That's
it.
a good idea. Should have never thought of that again.
And you have exactly the same thing, you have the water coming in.
That's what I'm doing right now for that top dig. I'm doing all their roller lines.
What's that?
I'm doing that for top dig right now and foaming all their lines for the hole.
And you guys want?
Yeah, just
Top
a
dig
couple
out
more
by,
questions.
Thomas.
dig.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I'm
2,600 feet is it?
I'm still working on the DFA report, and so far we've submitted approximately $45,000 worth of expenses. There's 40 flood locations total. I met with the engineer and went out with him to complete site visits for 3 days. Daryl was unavailable for part of those 3 days, and that's why I went. In addition to that, I had all the information here in the office as to how many man hours, what equipment, how much aggregate, and if any contractors were on site at each location. So that's why I chose to go. I hope council's okay with that. Normally it is the foreman, but unfortunately he had lots of things going on too, and he didn't have all the information collaborated like I had on my spreadsheets. In addition to that, I've submitted requesting council for my lunch. I went for lunch those 3 days. I'm just asking to be reimbursed because I did pay out of pocket. We started before 8:30 a.m. every morning, and all 3 days we went until at least 6 o'clock in the afternoon. So, and I have lots of photos to show you the hours that I was out there with him, and we went to all the locations. I even bumped into a couple of council members, so, yeah.
So that is up to a few dollars.
Oh, yeah.
It did, so we still have more work to do, and there are 20 plus sites that have been temporarily repaired. Something that was brought to our foreman's attention was that we need some more clay at a lot of these sites. Unfortunately, they've been filled with loose aggregate, gravel, and clay is needed for compaction. And you can see where a lot of the gravel and material that he's placed at certain locations has already eroded into the ditch. Yeah, it's unfortunate because we need to be repairing the sites to their pre-flood standard. we can't just fill them with whatever. So unfortunately, we've got some redos to do. And we will be compensated for it, as long as he submits that information to me, I can claim it, and the DFA will reimburse us.
Okay.
But we need to do it right, and if we don't, then those sites cannot be claimable in the future, because they have it recorded as, we dumped so many yards of aggregate in this hole, and then next flood, hopefully not soon, anytime soon.
Yeah, we got-
But
It didn't take
it's gone,
the flood.
and they know that we didn't compact it or do anything.
It didn't even take the heavy rains that, like
Yeah.
on my place, it was washing just from the runoff.
Okay.
It was just gone.
Carol, I have a question on that, like on that, I don't know if you're probably up on that 94 west side, north of Monroe Cemetery.
Right?
That one was just filled with aggregate river, and they dug it out probably close to a month ago and it's sitting like that, open hole till
Right.
today.
That's the culvert that's separated?
Yes.
Yes, yeah, I remember that.
And Darrell was mentioning to me the other day that they might just take it up when you call it,
He did mention that to the engineer when we were on site,
Okay.
yes.
and that's what's gonna happen. I
The
hope.
engineer said if it was compromised during repair, we can submit it and they
Okay.
may cover a large portion of the cost. They may not cover the whole expense of the culvert, but they can.
Just north of Monroe Cemetery, quarter mile.
Oh.
It's been sitting open for close to a
And that's
month.
one of the sites that needs claim.
But yeah, nothing, it was just gravel.
Well, and hopefully the engineer understands, sometimes we fill these holes in because of the
Safety.
safety and
Well,
traffic.
that's exactly why they've been listed as temporary fix.
Okay,
So that's
cool.
what he's put on the form, so that's where we can see which ones are temporary,
Yeah,
because
that's
they
good.
were done right.
Safety, because if a car goes in.
Yeah.
Well,
You have to get it fixed fast.
So I need to mention
Yeah, get 100.
the hole at my place that is just exactly the same. I asked Darrell what his thoughts of fixing it, and he felt maybe we should just leave it as a big hole. So,
Where?
on the road coming down my lane, it's, that big hole is back there again.
Oh, in the ditch?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, it's not washing onto the road, but it's all there. But anyway, my point is he just said maybe we should just leave it, because we can't, right? It needs to be.
gotta be repaired, not to the state.
Well, I think that one, I hope it gets fixed too, there's a hole in the road, like I say, it's been a month sitting there like that.
And that other crossing there on the Trans-Canada Trail, we should do something with DFA with culverts.
With it,
Because the culverts are still sitting.
The last I heard, Dallas told me that that was all taken care of.
Well, the culverts are still sitting there.
He says they applied for DFA, and that was in the springtime.
Okay, I'll go and have a look again.
And then, but he says we didn't have nothing to do with it.
We claimed it in 2020, so
Yeah.
we're supposed to claim it again. It's if the engineer went out and saw that site. So it's Rosedale's site actually, not Minto Downer or Glenwood, I don't know. It's Rosedale's site because we already claimed it once. So we will be reimbursed if we fix it back to the way it was. And the information that came through was that it hasn't been mowed or repaired since the flood, so it's quite a mess right now. I don't know.
Well, the mowing's different than DFA.
Okay,
The
right,
mowing,
yeah.
if we choose not to participate, so I know a lot of municipalities not mowing their trail. But as far as that site, I don't think there's nothing wrong with a low level, because they have a huge one about 7 miles up, and they did the same thing.
Well, if we're gonna.
It's a huge low level.
It would have moved right by Spring Valley, where that
Exactly.
trestle would have.
Exactly.
But
They're going around that.
that one over where we're talking is very sharp.
Yeah.
Right?
It needs cap.
It needs cat work to come in and make it.
So then it's like that one you're talking about?
Yeah.
That big one?
Yeah.
That one's pretty, you can see it coming for a long ways.
Put the culverts back, like the culvert, that's a lot of work.
Because we fixed that before, we'll fix that, not fix that deep crossing, right?
So is council okay with repairing it back to the local level that it was in order to, and will get compensated by DFA?
It was never.
It was never a low level, it was culverts in there.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
But they're washed out a second time now, so.
so you don't want to do culverts or you do?
No, low
So we're
level.
thinking it does low leveling it right out, like if we
That's what
stretch
you
it.
did do.
At the last one.
at the last
Yeah.
slide, but it's just a little bit sharp, so probably a couple of hours with a cat
Okay,
would just take the sharpness off. There is signs there.
okay.
It's
So-
very, yeah,
Yeah.
but it wouldn't take much, like you're saying, to just
Yeah.
make it
Just
a
make
much
it
more
gradual.
gradual.
Because you can't drive through there with a four-wheel drive pickup. You'll hit your bumper.
Oh.
It's a sharp one.
Boom.
Yeah.
You can't go up the other side.
Okay, so it needs to be taken off. like
Yeah, it needs to be
this.
shaded
Off
both ways
Both
and-
ways, okay.
And then it would be an already low level, you can see long ways and back it up.
I see somebody
It's called
change,
beach flood.
the bridge out and got it all over. The Trans-Canada Trail,
Do what?
they changed that bridge out right beside where Don again lived.
Well, they changed it over. They changed another one over here.
And that's how,
Red
that's,
did that, did he?
yeah,
No,
So,
kite.
Kite did.
They did another.
where I
one
was,
over here.
up towards Dillon's,
That thing or what?
up towards Dillon's, what I still call Dillon's, that's where Donnie's anyway. Now it's,
Yeah, I
It's
see.
older.
That was our jurisdiction.
Pictures, Jeff is in.
Whatever they did with the timbers out of it.
Go on there.
I don't know, we just put all new timbers in there,
Yes.
me and a bunch of us from the snowmobile.
No,
But the town did is what I heard, because I got stopped by a town employee, and he says, why are we doing work in your municipality? I says, I don't know what you're talking about. So I'm way home.
I was wondering who was doing it. I thought maybe it was Trans-Canada Trail.
No, the town did
Why
that.
would they be out there?
Oh, didn't know where the boundary was there.
I don't think that's the right thing.
But yeah, I know, I seen it getting done, and I thought maybe it was Trans-Canada Trail.
Has it put a new culvert?
Yeah.
I thought that bridge wasn't bad.
No, it was, well, we had hooked it one year with the drag, with snowmobile club. So we pulled everything back into place and put it all back together, and it was fine. It was a perfectly good bridge.
And I didn't fall under that, TF program or anything like that, because
It must be fuel for just.
it wasn't washed
I
out.
assume it's fuel.
So there's just a couple more sites I wanted to mention real quick.
Okay.
PR 265, Road 90 West is Robert's Ford.
Robert?
Sorry.
PR 265 and Road 90 West, you mentioned there's a spot there that it overtops the road continuously when the rain comes down. Unfortunately, that's a mitigation and preparedness project, so DFA, we can't do any work there. It's something that we would need to address before the next flood, or, you know, pay money out of pocket in order to cover that. In addition to that, there's also Big Valley and Riding Mountain on the creek on both sides of number 5 highway. Those are considered non-site specific sites, and therefore we can do our best to try to mitigate the problem that's happening. Like I know that Rodney White has been, he said he's going to either be there or he's been there.
He hasn't been there, he hasn't been called yet.
Just like the engineer said to us when we were on site, to Daryl, myself, and Earl was there for the Riding Mountain sites. When a creek bed meanders and makes its own way, you really can't put it back. You know, this is nature. People, if they're building next to a creek bed or a bank, they need to understand that that is unfortunately a concern, and they need to take that with their insurance. We can put some riprap on the side of the east side of the creek in Riding Mountain, but we can't divert the water in any way, shape, or form in order to make it go where we want it to go. It's obvious that it will always cut its own way, the way it wants to be. But
Once it starts, it's pretty tough.
right. The other site that we took a look at was Mrs. Pelk's property, just directly south of Riding Mountain. If council's okay with it, we're allowed to take 6 to 12 inches out of the creek bed to remedy the situation. We can tender that if you like. We will be reimbursed through the DFA for that work, but that's something that we should do this year while the open window for DFA claims is still about, if council wishes to. It is so many hundred yards. I don't
It's quite a way, I'm sure that eventually it's quite a
eyeballed
ways.
it, but yeah,
Yeah, it's
I would
200
have to get
yards,
some
300 yards.
measurements and then tender that to see if we can get a contractor with
It's
a
low
low in there.
before, so we will get reimbursed, so we just need some quotes handed, right?
Yeah,
Not
yeah,
tender, just.
exactly, yeah, we can get some quotes handed in for that. And then, and then the other two sites that were concerned was at the Road 86, Mr. Gillies' location, and the Trans-Canada Trail were still not repaired, so therefore we could do a temporary fix, or now that council has a plan for those, we can do those and be compensated for the work and the time. The last thing I wanted to mention on the report that I had was that September 30th is Truth and Reconciliation Day. So if council's okay with it, we're going to have the office closed again, same as we did last year.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, that's a federal holiday, right?
Manitoba's putting that out there too, they're working on that, right?
Yeah, they're working on it. That's a federal
I think
holiday.
it is federal.
It's federal.
Okay.
So for our guys in the union, it's not an union.
I'm sorry, I assume because we were closed last year, we would be closed this year. I will check into that.
Because that's a federal. As far as I know, I might be wrong. but
Yeah, I know there's discussion on the radio ordering, but I don't know anything about it.
Post office will be closed, will it?
Post office closed.
Everything was closed.
But some of
Yeah,
our
everything
other
was
government
closed last year, but I
offices
just
that were not. Yeah, and maybe there's some,
I don't think it's.
yeah, just check into that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and the last item is the Kelvin skating rink. Sorry, I was going to put it on the agenda, but I haven't received any information back from JC Construction. He was going to provide us an update. The information I do have is that the electrical was being worked on. I believe it's 85% done, he said. And council did pass a resolution at the last August 12th meeting to do the suspended ceiling, the labor to install the ceiling grid and tile, material for showers, no doors or taps, and the labor to transport from Winnipeg for JC Construction. So there are some items that need to be completed in that area as well.
Okay.
In addition to the grant funding that was announced. So
That's the radio.
yes, it sure
Yeah, that was
was.
all
It was out on the news and, yep. So investing in Canada infrastructure program funding announcement has been approved.
Good job.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that was nice to see.
Yeah, nice to see it finished. I'd like to speak on that riding out and grade for a minute, as Karen mentioned. I understand the engineer's not going to cover it, and that's good, but someone, at some point in that waterway, done work in there, some government body, because there's structures there.
Yeah.
And I think for the sake of the ratepayers that live near that waterway, I don't know, we need to do something as an RM, but something needs to be done because there's a couple of places, you're going to lose your yard. And I mean, if it was never altered before, that's one thing. There's lots of waterways we all have that never been altered.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say I've seen 3 structures in there that were built by a government body.
I've seen that.
So, and maybe you guys did, so, I mean, for the sake of the landowners there, we need to help them, if nothing else, maybe not financially, but at least with some say, I mean, because maybe they don't understand that the structures are built. So those structures technically altered the water flow, whether it was 5 years ago or 50 years ago, and it's going to be a lot of damage before this is over. And I mean, I don't know what that means exactly, but we're going to leave them hanging. It's not fair to the people that live there. It's, because it's been altered one time, at least one time
Yeah.
in the past, so that's what I have to say about that.
So just as suggested by Climate and Conservation, we could put riprap in on those areas where the banks are eroding to prevent further erosion. That's no problem. That we will be compensated for, but
Okay.
trenching, any of that kind of stuff to try and divert the water in a different direction. Not that I'm assuming that that's what council wants to do, but I'm just trying to say, we're certainly not going to riprap the whole east side of the bank through Riding Mountain or something like that. This will be minimal to help
Stop
it from eroding where.
That'll help some of the landowners, I mean, as far as it goes.
And same with Big Valley.
Yeah, that hole, it's technically a road mounds. That ditch with that parking.
Yeah.
That needs to be repaired. That's actually a hazard if kids.
It's a burn at the moment.
What's happening?
There's a burn.
Oh, yeah.
So if the
But that would be
ground needs to
covered.
be placed or
Yeah.
the shelves, I don't even know what they're called, the technical
Yeah.
term, for the rocks to sort of slow the flow, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, I'm hoping, I was waiting on Whitewood to call, I just, first thing about it.
So that's something in the right one, Rink will tender for that then? Have that all into their care, or is that process already started, or?
That's gonna be a hard process.
Yeah,
How will
just
they
one.
even judge how much would even?
I know, and how do you get it in there
How do you
without
get it in
through someone's yard.
But it's gonna be, where we walked that day and with you, with the engineer also, if that was, it's gonna be, the west side is not easier, but slightly easier,
Yeah.
but the east side is gonna be,
Like going to Bev's yard there, like,
you could back into Bev's yard on one side and then back in off the number 5 on the west side, but that east one by, this shot there is,
Spruce trees or something.
it's gonna be tough, so, but it'd be nice to do something. I mean, it's whatever that something is, because it's all about cost.
I think we have to go very carefully with fixing creeks.
Oh, agreed. And I don't wanna fix it, but I mean, I like to stop by erosion. If we can, we can.
Yeah.
Because 10 loads of rock is better than no loads of rock. Or 20 or 100 or whatever the number is.
Should we break for lunch early, because we're at 1:45, it's
Yes.
another 15 minutes, because sharp is our tent sale at 1 o'clock, so we should another 15 more
That's
minutes.
a good idea.
Sure. Do you want to discuss the hail damage claim?
Sure.
There was the hail damage at the municipal shop. I received word back from the insurance provider that there was approximately $15,000 done at the fire hall, worth of damage at the fire hall and at the shop, and $40,000 at the storage Quonset. So, yeah. So the insurance provider gave us a quote, and I received a quote from Mr. Lowen as well. Unfortunately, I was hoping to hear back from the insurance provider by today. I haven't heard back, but I do know that Mr. Lowen is not able to complete the work until next year. But since the damage has occurred, he has put a temporary repair there. So if council's okay with it, because it's an insurance claim, the insurance provider chooses who to move forward with. And we'll just wait to hear, and then it sounds like all 3 roofs will need to be replaced entirely. So,
And what's your deductible on that?
that one is 25,000.
25,000.
Yeah. Yeah.
What was the,
Our deductible is 25,000
and
for
what was the bill?
70,000 worth of damage.
2/3.
I guess we have all the roofs there.
Yeah.
That's right. Unfortunately, it's compromised structure, right? There's only holes in one building, but the other ones, you don't know, nobody's been up that, like,
That one there with nothing in it, like that, well, that would take a beat. That's why it was so much fun, there's nothing to help.
Nothing to
Straight
take
down.
down, so.
Just, at least the other stuff's
Well,
cheap.
what's our option? Really nothing.
What do you do?
Don't fix the building while we're off, you said.
Mother Nature doesn't pick and choose where it wants to go.
No, she won't.
That was a nasty one.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you were up to that.
Yeah, you know, I know you
You were
know,
first hand.
Yeah.
the whole insurance thing is, has made you busy. I know that about that.
Do you have anything
That's
else?
a big claim that they're.
just the tap sale, and
I went through that by my place that year.
that's about it. It was a short meeting today.
Okay.
Vehicles in my yard.
Well, do you want to break now then?
Earl's buying lunch, we back for lunch.
I thought last time.
I helped.
Were you conscious?
There was a weird interest in the whole back of there.
Yeah.
I'm with you guys today.
Do we want to give Mr. Ed a call?
Sure, I can do that right now.
Do you want to call and just ask?
Okay.
You got some, in case you can't get a hold of them, I guess we go for lunch and then we can discuss that.
Oh, yeah, we can break for lunch
Yeah.
anytime.
Let's do that.
That's fine, come back at 12:30, right?